Hey y'all, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is Tuesday, January 26th. I cannot believe that it's already the last week of January. I feel like this month has flown by so incredibly fast, and there's just been so much going on, like for me personally, but then also just kind of in the country and in the world, and everything is just a little bit of a hot mess and just a little bit crazy, you know what I mean? And things have just been crazy, y'all know, like, well, for me and for the world, for the past several months. So right around Christmas time, as you guys know, I had just so much going on. I had that big insurance issue. I was late and missing treatments, and I had tons of doctor's appointments, infections, and, you know, the list kind of just keeps going on. I like to usually try to take off a week to 2 weeks around Christmas time from kind of so many appointments, because it's always so many appointments nonstop, like go, 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 search for answers, search for a better quality of life, search for treatments, search for this, search for that. It is extremely exhausting. It is taxing. This year, though, I was unable to take any breaks around Christmas. I was still on the phone Christmas Eve, unfortunately, like trying to get answers, arguing with people. It was just really, really stressful, unfortunately. So I decided for my birthday week to take off for most things. So basically, I did not schedule any appointments for this week except for with my talk therapist and my nurse. That is it. So they'll both be tomorrow, and that's absolutely it. So it's kind of like a gift, I feel like, to myself, and I understand obviously how important it is to take care of your body, but this is also me taking care of my mental health, because I really just needed the break. And if you're chronically ill, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. And if you've been following my journey, you know it has been really nonstop since last May. It's been every week, just about. It's like at least one appointment. Some weeks it was like, you know, like 7 appointments. So, and I'm not even joking with the 7 thing. That did happen a couple of times. So it's just been so crazy. So I'm really just happy to be taking this break. I've still had to do a couple of things, you know, phone calls and stuff, but I'm just trying to not have to do so much medically, just to kind of give my brain a break. I've definitely mentioned this before, but I do struggle quite a bit with my birthday. It is extremely bittersweet for me. For several reasons. I mean, yes, of course I want to celebrate. There's so much that I am so immensely thankful for. I'm thankful to still be alive for another year, for my relationship with Christ. I mean, there are just so many wonderful things, but even though there are so many wonderful things, I do still struggle, and that's okay. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, that like with certain events, you know, you're thankful and you feel joy, but simultaneously you struggle. And I want you to know that's okay, and you're definitely not alone if you're feeling that way. So for me personally, if you don't know, some of the reasons I struggle with my birthday is because my parents are both very, very close to my birthday. My dad is the 23rd, so he just had his. And my mom actually is on the same day. She is the 28th. And from a very, very, very young age, I would say probably maybe 4 or so, I've always had a fear of them dying. So unfortunately, that's always kind of comes to my mind around this time of year, because obviously we're all aging. So that's one aspect of it. Then there's my brain and subconscious just kind of associating the aging thing with getting sicker. And I did start associating that at a very, very young age. I would say probably between 6 and 8 is when that started happening. And I just remember at a young age kind of stop playing, stop whatever I was doing, and going and finding my mom and just curling up in her lap and sobbing because I was getting older. I couldn't understand. It just wasn't fair. Why couldn't they, like, kind of make time slow down? And it was just so frustrating and confusing, and I just felt like all these insane emotions. And nobody really made much sense of it. I was not able to, obviously, in the beginning, articulate how I was feeling like I was physically getting worse every year, because at this point in time, I was sick, but nobody knew, like, oh, she has a chronic illness, or oh, like, this is a long-term thing. It was just kind of like, oh, Victoria's just different. She's just a little weird. She's unique. And it was always chalked up to just growing pains or a virus that lingered, or like I just couldn't get over infections. So there was no real like answer or diagnosis. I was not being monitored. Doctors really didn't take me or my parents serious for years. So basically, as I had aged, I realized that my pain was increasing. Things became more difficult to do, and the weakness was like an issue. It wasn't like now, obviously. It was more like, I guess, along the lines of more fatigue, I would say. So I also overheard at church one day a group of elderly individuals talking, and they had said something along the lines of, with the aging process, that they were all in pain and achy. So my little brain went, oh, this is part of life. Everybody else is in pain just like me. They just don't talk about it. It's just one of those things you just don't talk about. So I really thought that everybody was like in pain, and I was really confused. I was like, man, I don't understand how all these other kids are able to run with that much pain. Like, I just couldn't keep up with anything, and everything was just really difficult. I really struggled in gym and stuff like that. So it was just really difficult. And then the last aspect of the big birthday struggle is that I have a little bit, okay, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, maybe it's a lot, of survivor's guilt. So I kind of always knew this, and I think I have shared this. Yeah, I have shared this definitely before on the channel, but I'm going to repeat it, so my apologies if you've already heard it. But I was a conjoined twin. My twin did not make it, and I was able to finally confirm a few days before I turned 20 that she did in fact exist. It was not just something my brain made up. They do say if you have a twin and the twin doesn't make it, that the individual always like kind of knows. Or like if there's twins and they're separated at birth, they kind of just get this feeling that, there's something missing. Somebody should be here. I've always had that feeling. I remember like unpacking groceries and doing, just simple daily activities and missing her. And like thinking like that I should be a twin, and like that there should be somebody else here. And like when I would do stuff, like with my brother, I was like, oh, like she should be here. And I know that sounds just so insane. I totally get it. And that's why I never said anything for years. Until I was 19. And it was maybe 3 or 4 days before my birthday. I had a bladder scope to be specific. So they went up inside and they took a nice look around. And they realized that I have a lot of internal birth defects. So that day they found out that I have 3 kidneys and that I have 2 ureters, and they're very tightly twisted around one another. Additionally, I found out at a separate time that I have extra vertebrae, and I also have a tiny arm bone floating around in my abdomen. So with all this being said, and then talking to my mom, who is a very valuable resource, obviously, because she would know better than anybody. She did share that she bled heavily during pregnancy, and they actually thought that I didn't make it. It was early, so they had a hard time, I know, like viewing me for the longest time, like on the ultrasound and stuff. So it's actually not super shocking, in my opinion, that they completely missed the fact that there was another one. It was pretty early in the pregnancy, so it doesn't make it easier. It's been a lot of grief. But I feel like I've had permission to grieve now. I feel like with the information and like when I've talked to doctors and they do believe that I was a twin, like it's just been very freeing to be able to be open and talk about her. So those are some of the reasons I struggle with my birthday, but I am happy to report that I'm doing better this year. I do feel like there's a lot of reasons, and I will share them. I don't know. I know, like, when I shared last year that I struggle with my birthday, like, a lot of people had said that they do as well, so that's why I wanted to share again. I wasn't really planning on going through everything, but this is just kind of what's coming out. So we're just trying to roll with it at this point. So I feel like a lot of things, like I said, have been helping. Being really intentional in my mental health, in my self-care, making sure to really stay on top of like writing down my gratitude, writing out some Bible verses, all that good stuff. I need to be extremely, extremely intentional, guys. Like, and that's why too I started spreading out appointments more, because I've realized that it is too much on my mental health to be doing them back to back to back to back, because I'm not getting enough time to kind of breathe and rest, and then my body is just so taxed and it's so like crazy. So that's also why stuff needs to be spread out a little bit better, and I'm trying to create better boundaries, I guess, but still obviously take care of my body, which it's so hard. Like, it's such a struggle. In addition to that, like, being intentional with still talking to people. It's really easy when you feel down or depressed to kind of withdraw, obviously. So I'm being very intentional with, checking in on people and sending messages, all that great stuff. So definitely, if you struggle with something like this, make sure to keep reaching out to people. I actually do kind of feel like too that the YouTube channel has been really helpful in my mental health and in this birthday struggle, which might sound a little bit strange, but I do feel like it helped last year a little bit. So I'm not really sure like why, but I do feel like it's helpful. So and I just feel like this year I've had a lot of support from family, from friends, and it has made a big difference. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else. Yeah, I think those are like the main things. Oh, the other thing that really helped, obviously, is the conference that I just went to that I mentioned in another video. It was just so refreshing and really renewed me. So that's also been really helpful. And I know like rewatching the entire conference is going to be helpful as well. Okay guys, so I really did not anticipate this video being this long. I do apologize. If you made it this far though, thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you soon.